Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a quicker look at pay-to-play games with short trials or games in closed beta to give you a small glimpse of the game and what I feel about it. Today I'll be looking at Star Wars The Old Republic, a game I've been asked to do a grinder on, but unless it goes free to play, this is all we're gonna get. This 7-day trial was given to me by Julien Diaz, better known as Sad Panda, so a verbal special thanks goes out to him. First off, I think this game looks amazing and runs pretty smoothly. It's a good balance of decent graphics, just limited enough to run properly, and I'm running this on medium with a few niceties removed. The game does get bogged down in the frame rate in certain areas, such as when there's a heavy firefight going on, but mostly I had little issue with it, even as much as I tax my computer when I run these games. I also noticed some rather sloppy texture loading issues, but again, I could easily fault that on my setting or video card. Music is exactly what you'd expect to hear from a Star Wars game. It's all an orchestral space opera. Like most 3D MMOs, it doesn't play much, but it does seem to kick in during battles, which is a nice touch. Also, unsurprisingly included are the iconic Star Wars sounds, like the lightsaber hum or the blaster fire. The game also features voice acting for both NPCs and your character, and it's a nice touch for those who don't want to read quest logs. As gameplay goes, fantasy MMO players should feel right at home. Classes in the game fit well with the expected classes of other games, but with interesting quirks. While a Jedi Knight is your basic melee attacker or tank, depending on the class path you take, the ranged classes like Trooper or Imperial Agent have an interesting cover system allowing for more strategic fights. Attacking is all done with abilities, as there's no auto-attacking or white damage. This game is much more hotkey and mouse-click heavy than other MMO games. The structure of the game should feel very familiar to MMO players, and you'll be able to get into it fairly quickly. The crafting system is done entirely through your companions, who are characters that follow you around and aid you in combat. While crafting is slower than most MMOs, you can craft from anywhere and entirely on the go, which is a nice touch. I really like the commendation system where you can collect tokens to save up for better gear. This comes in useful in later missions where the quest rewards like armor or weapons aren't useful to you, so you can choose to receive a token instead. It saves you from having to choose between junk you really don't want, and it's pretty clever. This game is pretty travel heavy, and without the use of taxis or your quick travel button, you're going to be doing a lot of walking and backtracking, and this might grate on some people. The game is also phased off in areas, sometimes by class, clearly marked by red or green force fields. For example, you might see a cave off to the side, but if it's in red, you won't be able to access it until you've reached a certain mission, or are playing as a certain class. Some also limit you to heading inside solo, so be wary of that when you're in a party. The light and dark side system seems more gimmicky than anything, but it does prove interesting, especially when some quests let you end them early by killing off an NPC rather than having to listen to their demands. BioWare fans should feel right at home. It's also very story-heavy, and all missions, regardless of how insignificant they might be, are voice-acted cutscenes. If you're the kind of person who doesn't care about the story and usually never bothered to read the quest text, you'll probably get annoyed pretty fast. The story choices are handled pretty interestingly when you're in a party. All party members can join the same conversation, and when you choose a light or dark side option, the game rolls to see whose option you go with. Don't fret, because if you choose dark side and your partner's light side roll wins, you still get the points as if you chose the dark side option. You only have to watch the cutscene act out as a light side option. Typical dialogue choice issues abound, though, as sometimes you'll choose a dialogue option and your character will say something that isn't what you intended. I've yelled, "I didn't say that!" at my screen quite a few times. Even simple dialogue choices also grant you influence over your companions, and some prefer certain attitudes over others. Trial accounts limit you to reaching level 15, so that is as far as I could get with my Jedi Knight Guardian. You're also kept from getting your crafting skills above 40, denied auction house access, and are unable to speak in general chat or whispers. Overall, I say this is a great game for regular MMO players who want a breath of fresh air, but don't want to play a game that feels too unfamiliar. However, if you're simply not an MMO fan, I'm pretty sure this title isn't going to convert you. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.